Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about the absolutely incredible story of Patricia Narayan. It's a journey that starts with literally less than a single rupee and ends with a food empire. But honestly, it's more than that. It's a story about rebuilding a life from the ground up with pure, unshakable will.
Okay, just look at this for a second. On one side, you have her entire earnings from her first day in business, 50 paise. That's a single coin. On the other side, her daily revenue today, 2 lakh rupees, a day. This gap, it's not just about money, right? It represents an entire lifetime of struggle and success. It's the story of how the smallest possible beginning can lead to one of the most amazing outcomes.
So to really get how she did this, we've got to go all the way back to her breaking point. And I mean, this wasn't just a tough start. This was rock bottom, a level of hardship that, let's be honest, would have completely defeated most people.
Can you even imagine? At just 17 years old, Patricia found herself completely and utterly alone. She married against her family's wishes, and boom, they disowned her. But the nightmare was just getting started. Her husband was an addict, the marriage was abusive, and she was left to raise 2 kids with no money, no family, and no support system whatsoever. She was, in every sense of the word, on her own.
And right here, in this moment of total despair, this is where you see that first spark of the entrepreneur. People were telling her that what she wanted to do wasn't a housewife's job, basically saying her place was in the home. But did she back down? Nope. She took that judgment, and as she says herself, it inspired me to do it. That criticism became her fuel. This act of defiance was really the true beginning of her whole journey.
All right, so she's got nothing left to lose and 2 children she has to feed. She had to do something. And that's when she took that first, incredibly courageous step. And listen, this wasn't some grand business plan to build an empire. This was about survival, pure and simple.
So what did she do? She took her mother's recipes and started a tiny mobile cart on Chennai's Marina Beach. She had 0 formal training. In fact, she later called the beach her business school. And on that very first day, back in 1982, her total earnings came from selling 1 single cup of coffee. The price? Just 50 paise.
But that 50 paise, man, it was so much more than a coin. It was the spark. It was proof that she could create something from nothing, that she could earn her own way. When everything else was dark, that 50 paise wasn't just a sale. It was the first flicker of real hope. It was a glimpse of a future she could build for herself.
And from that single coin, the long, slow climb began. I mean, look at this timeline. This was not an overnight success story. From that 1 cup of coffee, she started selling snacks, building a loyal following just because the food was so good. This led to her getting contracts to run office canteens. For over 15 years, she just kept grinding day in and day out. By 1998, her expertise was so undeniable that she was made a director at a major restaurant group. This entire time was all about one thing: relentless, steady effort.
But just when her professional life was finally stabilizing, after everything she'd already been through, life dealt her another absolutely devastating blow, an unimaginable personal tragedy.
In 2004, Patricia faced what no parent should ever have to face. Her daughter, Patricia Sandra, who was newly married, was killed in a tragic car accident. After everything she'd overcome, this devastating loss could have been the final blow. You know, the moment where anyone would have just given up for good.
But it wasn't the end. Instead of letting grief consume them, Patricia and her son channeled it into a legacy. In 2006, 2 years after the accident, they opened their first restaurant, and they named it Sandifa, in her daughter's memory. They literally turned their deepest pain into their greatest purpose.
And the creation of Sandifa, that marked a huge turning point. It wasn't just a tribute, it was the catalyst for a whole new phase of explosive growth that would transform her business into a true food empire.
So let's just pause for a second and really appreciate how far she's come. Remember that first little cart on the beach? It was just her and 2 employees. And here's something really important. From day one, she made a conscious choice to hire disabled individuals. So that was her entire team. 3 people, often overlooked by society, starting a business with absolutely nothing.
Okay, now look at this. From that team of 3, she now employs over 200 people across her chain of restaurants and food courts. That isn't just growth, that's an explosion. We're talking a 100-fold increase, all built on decades of work.
And this transformation wasn't just professional. This chart says it all, really. In the early days, she was getting around on a cycle rickshaw. Now, she has her own car. It's such a simple thing, but it's a really powerful symbol of her entire journey, from total dependency to complete self-reliance.
So after a lifetime of struggle, of tragedy, and incredible triumph, what can we learn from her? What's the core wisdom she wants to pass on to other entrepreneurs?
So what's the secret? Well, Patricia distills 30 years of work into 3 core principles. First, never ever compromise on quality. For her, that was the food, and it's what kept people coming back. Second, believe in yourself and your product. After being told she couldn't do it, that self-belief was all she had. And finally, stick to what you know. She understood cooking inside and out, which meant she could lead her team effectively because she'd done every single job herself.
And this, for me, is maybe the most incredible part. After everything she has built, from 50 paise to where she is now, she's still not done. That same spark, ignited by a single 50 paise coin all those years ago, is still driving her forward. Her story proves that resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about finding a way to keep that fire burning. And it leaves you with one question: what spark inside of you is just waiting for its moment?